It should be good to go now. I am here with Alexander Lasarev. Типа по-русски. Do you speak Russian?
Говорю нормально по-русски, чувак, да.
You're a little laggy there, but perhaps we could understand some of it. Tell everyone where you're calling in from.
I'm in some random little town no one's heard of outside of Ottawa in Canada. It is early September. It is beautiful out there, and I've been doing a Tai Chi with my Tai Chi teacher, and it's a good time.
Alrighty, nice. I would love to know your story, perhaps from start to finish. Take as long as you want. I understand that approximately 4 years ago, you released a video saying something along the lines of the end of Sasha Daygame. You were Sasha Daygame, but not anymore, it seems. So can you tell us about your journey and what you're doing these days after that?
Well, yeah, I guess I was propelled into creating the Sasha Day game character because I had a really tough childhood, and my mother was like super abusive. So she would like, I joke about all this in my stand-up now. So she would like throw boots at my head and tell me I was never going to amount to anything. And, she would buy me like the worst clothes. And she, no, she didn't t teach me like the basics, like brush your teeth once in a while, or like, have a shower, like I got nothing. So I was the really awkward, weird, stinky kid in school everybody made fun of. And I didn't love myself, and I didn't know who I was. And we all have our stuff from childhood, but for me, it was pretty heavy. So I would be like disassociating. I wasn't able to connect with people. It was difficult for me to be present because I was always up in my head, or I was like escaping from situations because I was so used to being abused by my mother. Like it was impossible for me to be like a normal person, whether it be in conversation or social situations or anything. Like I was a mess. So fast forward, I'm kind of going through life, and then I get into my like I don't know, early 20s, whatever. And I know I like women. I've liked women pretty much the whole time, but I couldn't, and I really wanted to have a girlfriend, but I was just a disaster. Like I was so needy. I was like, please love me. And women would just go running away from me, like in a big way. So I had to figure something out, right? I was just like, it was a disaster. And I'd already started doing stand-up comedy when I was 17, so that helped somewhat. I was getting some confidence and I was able to express myself a little, but I was still super needy, and I really didn't know anything about women or how to talk to them, or hadn't really done the healing work on myself to be able to feel comfortable speaking to women. So that's where Sasha Day Game kind of happened. I used to be friends with for a while with Mystery back in Toronto because we're both in the same city. So we kind of met at the comedy club. And so he was the one telling me like, oh yeah, you can just come up to women. But he was doing all this like all these stories, and he had this system, and he was like doing magic for all these women. And I thought it was weird. I said to him once we were in a bar, Velvet Underground in the late '90s, and I said to him, I said, bro, we should be able to just be normal, and talk to women normally, and some of them will like us. And he was like, no, that's never going to work, bro. You got to put on a show. You got to do all the stuff. You got to tell. So and I didn't like it. I was like, oh, this is too much work. It doesn't feel authentic to me. This bullshit. So I dropped it. And then of course, as fate has it, the game came out, right? And somebody told me about it. I'm like, oh, I know this guy who wrote this book, So I read the book, and then I got re-inspired. I'm like, man, I still suck with women, and I was friends with Mystery in the old days. So I should probably get better because I'm so bad. But I just hated like the idea of like getting chicks drunk or going out to like it was all fake bullshit to me. Like I didn't like any of it. It was all the manipulation. I didn't like any of that bullshit. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try something a little bit different, and I did. And I thought I'm just going to go on the street, and actually I'll give credit where credit is due. It was actually somebody sent me a talk by Bad Boy, and I listened to Bad Boy, and Bad Boy was actually like, guys, just tell women they're sexy, tell them whatever you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this, but I'm not gonna go to the nightclub. I don't like the idea of the night stuff. So I took the concept and I said, well, let me try it. I'm funny, and I'll just go out there and be funny and hit on women and just tell them they're hot and stuff. And I just did that. I just went out and was like, hey, beautiful, how's it going? You got a boyfriend? And immediately, as soon as I started being real and just flirting with women, I started like immediately like I hooked up with one girl, I with another girl gave me your number, another girl gave me a number. So I was like, oh man, I went from zero to like sleeping with one girl, several dates happening like real quick. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so, yeah, so I was in London at this time, and there was like a London Seduction Society, really amazing community of people there, like really good guys, like really helping each other out. So I started posting on there about my success and failure and all this kind of stuff. And it just kind of took off. And, next thing you know, lots of people are reading my posts. And then it just kind of grew. And eventually, like, I just kind of like started helping people out kind of for free. And then eventually someone gave me a little money. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then they're writing reviews. And I'm like, I guess I could charge more money. And the next thing you know, that just kind of blew up into this business. And I put up these videos of me talking to women, and so those went viral. And next thing you know, I'm charging like shit tons of money, teaching men how to do all this stuff. But it got deeper and deeper because as I got more into it, I realized, okay, it wasn't, yeah, some guys are just shy. Some guys just don't know what to say. They don't know how to connect. But a lot of guys just had these weird inner beliefs, like they weren't good enough, or they weren't worthy, all kinds of inner games, what would be called inner game stuff, I guess, in the community. So as I got older, I just matured in my teaching. So for a long time, it was just about breaking through social freedom, getting guys not to give a fuck what people think, getting over rejection, being playful, maintaining eye contact. There was a lot of stuff, being curious about the woman. But as I got more and more into like doing my own personal work and getting into shadow work and healing myself and getting more healthy and like feeling good about me, more of that went into my teaching. And somewhere around 2015, I was teaching a boot camp and I'm listening to this awkward dude hit on a woman. And I just had this feeling of like, oh, this is so awkward. I just kind of was like, I don't want to be listening to dudes hit on women anymore. I'm done. So I just knew that part of my journey was done, like teaching the kind of the pickup side. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Even though the business was booming, everything was going well. I just was like, nah, because I just wanted to keep going on my spiritual journey. I was working on myself. I was having profound spiritual awakenings, and I just want to focus on that. So I told people like, hey, I'm going to do my last couple of boot camps, and then they packed out, and I taught those boot camps, and that's it. And I went on with my life, and I've been doing a lot of stuff since then has happened. Um, but yeah, but I just officially quit teaching like dating, even though once in a while if somebody reaches out and they really need my help with something, I'll still once in a while take private clients. I just don't really put myself out there. If people find me and they really want to work with me, then that's cool. I just kind of leave it to the universe. Um, but yeah, I would just emphasize that like for most guys, you know, it's really inner stuff, right? Like if you really feel good about yourself and you know that you're worthy and you feel good in life, you're going to attract amazing women to you anyways. Like you don't have to go out and do like 30, 40, 50 approaches in an afternoon like I used to do. If you really feel good about who you are and you have a great life and you're doing what you love, especially that's really important that you're doing something that contributes to the world and you feel happy and you're just being an amazing human. You're just going to attract amazing people like women to you anyway. You're just going to run into these women and they're going to be into you. And also if you have balls and you're not a coward and you get over your fears, when you actually see a woman that you like in some situation, whether she's on a bus or she's in a park, doesn't really matter. It's not that you're going out to do 50 approaches. You'll just see a woman and she'll look at you and you'll look at her and you'll be like, man, I think she looked at me and she's really cute. I'm just going to go talk to her and see what's up. And you'll just do it because it's just you because you're curious and you want to meet her. And that's such a healthier place to just do those natural approaches than it is to like go out there and like hit on like 50 women. It's just a natural, and women can feel when you're just done like 39 approaches in a row because you become a robot. So now you're being robotic. Excuse me, can I talk? So now you're a fucking approach machine, and they can feel it, and they're just like you can feel them. It's funny in their energy. Women are so tuned in. They're way smarter. They're just more tuned in than us. I can feel that the woman knows, oh yeah, this guy's come up to so many women. Okay, it's bullshit. So it's actually so much more real and authentic if you just live your life. Like go bowling with your friends, go for a jog, go to the gym, work out, like go meet your friends for lunch, like but just do your normal life. And when you happen to bump into women or you see women, you're like, damn, I gotta go talk to her. Just go do it because in that moment, woman's just walking her dog and you just came out of a restaurant eating with your friend. You see this woman, you're like, oh my God, I love this woman, so cute. You say to your friend, bro, listen, I'll be right back. I just got to talk to this woman. You run over to this woman in that real life situation. You're like, hey, I don't want to freak you out, but like I just had lunch with my friend back there, and I saw you with your dog, and you're super cute, and I just want to come ask you on a date. If I know it's crazy, but like, would you go out with me if you're single? And you'd be amazed how the amazing reaction you get because it's real, and the woman knows it's real. She can see like you got your little food bag there, and your friend standing behind you looking at you like you're crazy, and you're just like, sorry, like it's just so natural and she can sense this is like real life. And the fact that you're just being natural and having a set of balls in real life, that's the most attractive thing. And it's kind of organic, it's just it's organic, and she can feel that. And so that's really what it comes down to. And that's always my advice for the men now. It's just like work on yourself. Don't work on like getting good at day game. Work on like go to the gym, lose weight, be healthy, detox, we work, get into shadow work, like work on your shadows, work on your belief structures, like really work on yourself. So you're a happy, whole, wonderful human being and then just trust the universe and then trust that when you're ready for an amazing woman, she's going to show up, and you're gonna, it's just gonna happen for you. But not because you're forcing it to happen. You don't have to force anything to happen. You can just work on yourself. That's literally the most greatest advice ever. Work on yourself. Don't worry about anyone else. Work on you and just watch what happens. So there you go. I'll stop the rant there.
Very,
Now you can
very
ask me
interesting stuff. I got a lot of good ideas from that. So I'm picking up for what you just mentioned, authenticity and digging. So I'll just go through something that happened interestingly this week. So just this week, people have been posting on Reddit about day game in Warsaw, Poland. A woman posted that she was approached 11 times in a single day, just on her commute to and from work. She mentioned that the day gamers were pretty much using the same lines and doing the same things. Does this raise concerns that day gamers haven't really innovated and are all just copying each other and being inauthentic?
Yeah, I mean, very funny and related to that. I once did one of my lines on a woman, and she goes, "I already heard that one today." And I was like, "Yeah, I came up with it. People are using my lines," and I was pissed. I'm just like, somebody used my line. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This is what I talked about earlier, right? It's like guys turning into robots, and that's exactly what you want to avoid because it's not real anymore. It's not authentic. It's not in the moment anymore. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So if this is why it's so dangerous to be going out and I'm just going to do 40 approaches because inevitably you're going to start going into the same patterns, right? Oh, hey, you're so cute. I saw you, blah, blah, blah. You could, if you're really conscious about it and you want to go do a lot of approaches, you could like, okay, I'm going to stand on this corner here or I'm going to sit in this coffee shop and I'm not going to get up and I'm not going to talk to anybody unless something real pops up, like something authentic, and then something pops in your head and you go, okay, cool. Like if it's something you've said verbatim before, don't do it. Then you're going to be a lot more real. It's still not as authentic as you just like living your life and doing approaches when they happen, but yeah, it's not even just that she's heard the line before. It's that the energy that you have is going to be one of repetition and boredom when you say it, and women can feel that. They're just way more tuned in than we are, and they know what's up. So don't do that. Don't repeat shit. Yeah.
So being more using situational openers, for example, even if you have like an idea of an opener, but you just like don't use it word for word, something you read online, but you could apply it if it genuinely makes sense. So for example, when like I appreciate when women have like genuinely good shoes, but I'm not just gonna walk over to any woman wearing shoes and be like, "Hey, I love your shoes." If I hate her shoes, I'm not gonna fucking even consider doing that. So, do you have some examples of like that, a shoes opener? Your shoes are really cool.
I mean, it's just about whatever's happening in the moment. It doesn't, guys think that it has to be like super clever or it has to be super funny or super, no, it doesn't. It has to just be real and in the moment. So whatever comes to mind, it's like a really simple improv game. I would recommend anybody who really wants to get good at this, go take a improv course if you can, even just like level one, or go play some improv games because it doesn't really matter what it is. As long as something pops into your head, then it's good. So I love your outfit. Your outfit is crazy, or you seem like, based on your outfit, you seem like a really crazy person. I want to talk to you. You seem really fun. I like your hair. Your hair is so weird. I like your energy. That's again, if you really do like someone's energy and they really seem fun, like, oh, man, I really want to meet them because they seem fun. Just saying, hey, you seem really fun. I just want to say hi to you. It's so basic. Like there's nothing complicated about it, but because in that moment it's real and that's what makes it powerful. So it's really just about trusting yourself in the moment. As soon as you get the thought like, oh, that person seems fun, go tell her. That's actually one of the games we used to play in the old days, was like tell her. So as soon as like you're walking with your buddy, your wingman or whatever, and if your friend says, oh, that girl has an amazing ass, I would say you got to tell her, and you have to go tell her. and see, and or if he said, oh, that woman likes she just looks like she owns like 9 cats, and I'll be like, tell her, and then he'd have to run over and be like, hey, do you have 9 cats? Because I was hanging with my friend. I thought you were like a cat lady, and you'd be the sexiest cat lady ever. Don't get me wrong. It's just like I thought you had cats. Whatever, just fuck say it. Like it doesn't matter as long as it's in the moment and it's fun and you're just being original. They'll appreciate that rather than looks. I mean, we used to make fun of people who doing the same line over. Excuse me, I saw you from over there, and you look. I just wanted to come over and say that you look really nice. It's like, dude, I'm gonna fucking choke you out, bro. Like, how many times I'm gonna slap the shit out of you? You know, it's like it's so fucking lazy and unoriginal. You know what I'm saying? Like get off your ass, go out there and sit there with your coffee and watch women walk by and then just like observe what's unique or original about them. And as soon as and if a woman's attractive and you're just like, damn, I like her walk, boom, just go, hey, excuse me. I know it's weird, but I love your walk. Your walk is amazing. You're super confident. I just want to come say hi to you because I like your walk. It doesn't have to be even that interesting. It's just like as long as it's not some fucking bullshit that you know you've said 40 times that day. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's just a starter. It doesn't matter.
Oh man. No, that's crazy. I've been ranting about the same thing like 3 times at least this week. Like people just saying that exact same thing. Hey, I just saw you from over there and thought you were cute and just wanted to say, man, it happens so much. All these guys are just saying the same shit. So it's fucking there has been like so little innovation, if any, that I've seen in the field of day game in however many years. Like nothing really has changed. Like what exactly, we already talked about authenticity. What exactly about day game do you think a lot of guys are doing wrong? What could they do better? Is it like something to do with locations as well? Like a lot of guys go to busy places, Washington Square Park. Dundas Square. I think they changed the name of that recently, actually.
Well, I mean, I haven't been paying attention in the last 10 years because I retired. But I'm gonna guess that the guys that are doing the same stupid shit they were in 2015 when I retired. Um, so yeah, so what I said, doing like lots of approaches like a robot and saying same bullshit, don't do that. Not being genuinely curious, that's like another really big one. Like if you're talking to a woman, like, well, okay, even before I get to that, like be honest about your intention. That's really important. So like if you see a woman and she's just sexy and for whatever reason you're not interested in a relationship, you just want to hook up with this woman, have the balls to just be like, yo, just be energetically in alignment with your intention. So what that means is I'm not going to pretend if I just want to hook up with a girl, I'm not going to pretend that I want to date her. I'm not going to be like, hey, do you have a boy? Like, you know, I don't care. I'm just going to be really honest and be like, hey, you're really sexy. I want to take you out sometime. Like we need to get together. And I'm going to be really real about it. And I'm not gonna, you know, because that's not, it's not cool. Like you never want to fuck with people or lie or manipulate people. It's karma. It's always gonna come bite you on the ass. So I will be authentic. If I just want to hook up, I'll just be like, yo, you're fucking sexy. Like, let me take you out. You know, like we'll have fun. And that's it. I'm not gonna give her the vibe I'm interested. But if I see a woman, I'm like, man, I would marry that girl. Man, I would just, damn, like, holy shit, that's my type exactly. I want to get to know her, and I'm just curious, and I just want to take her on a date and just see what the chemistry is. I don't have to be super sexual or anything. I'll just be like, hey, you're totally gorgeous. You look like my type. Like, if you're single, I would love to just go for a hot chocolate or a juice or whatever and just hang out. You know, and just curious about you. So I'm going to put out the vibe that I'm actually curious, but I am fucking curious. Like if I want to date someone, obviously, you got to have high standards. You know, like you got to actually, like, the most attractive thing a woman is going to feel is that you're genuinely curious about her. So again, women are sensitive to energy. So if you're just like looking at her titties and you're like, hey, sexy, how's it going? Oh, you know, she's like, okay, this guy just wants to bang me. But if you're just like, hey, like, I'm curious about you, like, what, you know, like, tell me about you, and you're actually like, shut the fuck up and you listen, and you're just like looking at her like, I want to know about you, like, what are you into? Like, you're so beautiful, but I'm just curious, like, what's your deal? Like, are you a dancer? Are you a student? Like, tell me about you. And she noticed that you actually want to know and you're listening and you're actually you ask the question, you shut the fuck up and actually listen. Then she's going to be like, oh, this guy's a good listener. And she's going to be curious about you because you're curious about her, right? That's how it works. So really, like, be fucking curious. If you actually want to get a girlfriend or date someone or maybe get married, all that, you got to be curious. So that's the number one attractive thing. Well, there's a couple of really attractive things. Number one, having the balls to actually like come up to a woman and be honest and tell her you're interested. That's number one. And number two, be curious. Be fucking curious. And so many students of mine, they'd be talking to the girl, but I'm like, dude, you're just asking stupid ass fucking boring. Like, look at her, and what are you actually interested in? And so, and she can feel that. Just remember, like they can always feel. They just know, right? Just assume that they know if you're full of shit. They know if you're lying. They know everything. Um, so just be curious. That's another massive mistake. Obviously, keep eye contact. I think most people probably know that. Um, have the balls to like ask her out. That's another big mistake. Guys will talk and then like they're afraid of rejection, so they'll just let it peter out. It's like, no, talk to her, you get to know her, and if you're like, yeah, this girl's interesting enough, I would like to go out with her. At some point in the conversation, you go, you know what, like we got stuff in common. I like you. I think you're really attractive. Like, you have a boyfriend? And that's like a great question, because if she's not interested, she'll be like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. Cool. She's not interested in you. Leave her alone. It's cool. But if she's like, no, I'm kind of dating people or whatever, you say, great. Well, let's go on a date then. Let's go. Let's hang out. What are you doing right now? You want to get a juice right now? So have the balls to go for the close, and don't be a bitch and like just go for a number. Like, if you're talking to a girl more than 5-10 minutes, try and get her out right now. Like, what are you doing right now? We get a cup of coffee for like half an hour, right? You got half an hour. And then she's like, no, I really got to meet someone now. I can't. Okay, well, give me your number. Let me give you a missed call, or I'll send you a funny text right now, and then when this the next couple days, let me know when you got like an hour, and we'll get a coffee, and just grab her, and just get her number, send her a message. Um, yeah, that's it. I think those are pretty big. I mean, it's probably a list of like a lot of things, but like that's what comes to my head right now. Some good
Yeah.
tips.
That's interesting. That the boyfriend thing, it's so funny because guys are like, if she says she has a boyfriend, it's either true or it's a shit test or something along those. I forget what like the third case is, but it's like people are always trying to say it's a shit test.
Hey,
She doesn't really have a
listen,
boyfriend.
don't play these games. Like, just be real. Like, again, the women are going to respect you when you don't play any bullshit games. That's really what it comes down to. So don't fuck around. If she says I have a boyfriend, you go, well, I really like you. It's too bad you have a boyfriend. Look, let me give you my number, and literally, like, give me your phone. I'm just gonna put my number in your phone. Put your number in your phone. Make some joke. I can be like, I'll like whatever. If she called me a shithead jokingly, I'll be Alex a shithead, or funny guy Alex, whatever. Like, I'll just make some little joke. But I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna give you my number, or even like, it's actually a good tip to like have a little piece of paper, and you can even like, it's good if you have business cards. It's actually really useful to have like a card, even if it's just like funny guy, or a midget, whatever you do. It can be your job, it can be, it could be Tai Chi wannabe master, like it's like a funny card, whatever. But just the fact that you have your number on something, you can say, hey, you know what, I respect you, my friend. If it doesn't work out, something happens, whatever, I'd love to connect with you sometime. But life happens. If the situation changes, hit me up. I'm not going to forget you. Hit me up, whatever. Give her the number. Nice to meet you. Give her a hug and wish her a good day. And just the fact that you're cool and you respect her, and you know what I'm saying, that says a lot. That you're like, you respect that she has a boyfriend. You say, well, that's too bad. I'd love to connect with you. Take my number, and whatever happens, happens. Yo, that's gangster. The fact that you're cool with it, you're not like being a bitch, you're trying to manipulate, trying to get around. Just a real man who has options. Like, yeah, that's cool. All good. Give me a shot. If it doesn't work out, peace. Have a great day. That's amazing. And she's gonna be like, man, that guy was cool. He didn't give a fuck. How did He just was so respectful. He just gave me his number. And they'll think about that. I'm telling you, if they were bullshitting and they don't actually have a boyfriend, 1, 2, 3 days later, she might be horny, and she might be like, I'm actually horny. That guy wasn't. He was all right. I'm gonna give him a call. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And I asked one of my friends, Dave. I call him Natural Dave. He's a good dude. He loves women. Okay. And I asked him one time. I was like, bro, what are you doing? You always got these girls around. I said, what are you doing with all? What's your strategy? What are you doing with all these chicks? Because you got so many girls' numbers, and sometimes the girls pop out of nowhere, and he'll just hook up with them. I'm like, what? Where did you meet that girl? He's like, oh, I met that girl 2 years ago. I'm like, you met her 2 years ago, and you just hooked up with her now? How's that even possible? And he's like, well, and this is what he told me. He said, you just maintain good relations. You say you let them know you're interested. You smile, you flirt. Make sure you make sure she has your number, but don't put pressure or anything. And one day she's going to be single. She's going to whatever. She's going to be horny, and she's going to want to get laid, and she'll think about and you'll pop in her head, and she'll be like, that guy said just to call him anytime. Fuck it, I'm going to call. And he'll get a text from some chick he met a long time ago, because he's so open and just like, hey, I really like you. I'd love to get to know you. No pressure, but like, listen, if you change your mind, here's my number. You can give me a call anytime. Yeah, and they do, because once in a while they have a breakup, they're single, they're horny, and they think of, oh yeah, there's a guy that's friendly, and he said, and I got his number, I'm going to try him out. So just keep good relations. So imagine you've actually had a good connection with a hundred women, and you have a good chat with them. 100 women who said, "Nah, I got a boyfriend," but you say, "That's cool, whatever. Let's see what happens. Let me give you my number." See. Dude, if you had 100 women that you had a good conversation with that have your number, and they know you're interested in them, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before one of them is going to be like, "I'm gonna hit this guy up." For sure. It's just, it's just common sense. But again, I'm not going out there to try and give my number to 100 women. I'm not playing that game. But I'm just saying, be respectful, give them your number, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But just again, the spiritual aspect of this is important. Just if you're really living in abundance and you're living your life happily and you're a good person, you're doing good things. There's no, things are going to work out. Just don't worry about it. Like, give her the number and trust the universe. And if it's meant to be, something's going to happen. It'll happen. And if it's not, you're going to meet someone else. Don't worry about it. Just chill the fuck out. you
I
know?
think that's such an
You know what I'm
incredible
talking?
point. Such an incredible point you made. Like, if there's something I want to emphasize in that for guys to really take away and think about, it's the fact that a lot of guys, especially in the day game, probably, they would consider such a thing like the boyfriend objection, whatever they want to call it, or anything like that. They would just consider that a straight up rejection and be like, okay, that's a dead end. Or if it's not like a shit test in their mind or something, they'll just take that as a rejection. Whereas the mindset should actually be, well, relationships might end eventually, like most relationships do end. It's a very high percentage that don't last that long. And either way, she's still human, you're still human, you can still reconnect down the line. Like exactly as you said with the Dave guy, I have reconnected with women years later and then gone on dates with them. And it's just it's that thing that happens when you simply connect with other people, regardless of the circumstances or the neediness of I want this now or rejection mindset. So it's this crazy thing. I just want guys to really emphasize
It's
that
also
point.
it's also a nice spiritual principle that the universe, it is a love-based universe. Unconditional love is the nature of all, and so when you're having an interaction with the person, creation is always going to find a way where it can lead to something good or benefit. So even though you might not date this girl, you might not sleep with this girl, whatever, but maybe you're supposed to meet a friend of hers who maybe is going to end up being your wife, or maybe you're going to have an amazing connection in business with a friend of hers, and you're going to end up starting a business that becomes a multi-million-dollar business. You're going to be super successful, and it's only because you had an authentic moment with this girl who said, "Actually, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to my friend. I think I'm going to have a connection with my friend." Like, there, spirit, the universe is always is conspiring to do amazing things. So you don't know what the possibilities are when you talk to someone. So it's very, very narrow-minded. Oh well, she's not going to fuck me, so who cares, dude? This is another human being. This is another aspect of the creator, the energy that is the creator of all that is, the consciousness that is you, that is me, that is the plants, that is all of us. And you're talking to another aspect of this God consciousness. You don't know what that might lead to, so just be present, be nice, have a decent conversation, and you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen, and that's part of the beautiful adventure of day game, is that you get to meet all these beautiful souls. And sure, you may have sexual adventures and whatever, but you might make great friends. You might be invited to events. You might go traveling with some of these people. Who knows what's going to happen, right? The possibilities are endless. So don't be narrow-minded and just focus on sex. Be a social creature and be a giver of value, and just connect with people and see what happens.
Oh my God, this is so legendary. This is like a social circle game thinking where basically everything is an opportunity. You really should be an opportunity. It's not just I'm gonna get sex or be rejected. It's I'm gonna meet people. And if I want to meet more women, I could meet more women through her network, through her friend group, rather than just like shotgun, no, snipe for one result or hit or miss scenario. It's really a matter of connecting the dots. So huge respect
But
to what you're saying
even
here.
yes, but also, but even that mindset of like that you're going to get something. Like, dude, when someone is, and I know in the pickup community you talk about high value. Let me tell your audience what is really high value. High value is you don't need shit from anyone. You know that your nature is love. You know you're a amazing person. You what get happy is helping other beings and just literally being an amazing human and helping people, whether it's health. I help people because I love helping people, whether it's like talking about things I'm passionate about, dry fasting, or whatever it is. Could be meditation, could be stretching, could be qigong, could be vitamin D, or how to reverse cancer naturally because their grandma's got fucking cancer, and I'm like, hey, listen, don't get chemo. Let me give you three cancer solutions that I know work, that I read books about, or just giving, whatever. Just I love helping people because I know I am them. They are me. We're all one consciousness here. Every enlightened master in the world has been saying the same thing. We're all one consciousness. Love is the nature of reality. And the more you be that love, and you actually listen to people and you want to help people, whether it's like, oh, they're trying to start a business and you're a successful business person, you're like, oh, let me give you some tips, or go and read this book and it will help you out. But when you go out there just making people's lives better because you from a place of love, dude, it's a spiritual law. Whatever energy you put out, it comes back. That's how it works. That's literally how it works. So again, if you go out there taking, you're just trying to get sex, you're trying to get for you, you're going to get those lessons. You're going to get harsh lessons of people taking advantage of you, and you're going to see what it feels like when you get fucked over by greedy ass selfish people. So I'm saying, like, you can't escape it because whatever you put out into the universe, you're saying to the universe, I want to experience this. So if you're going out there trying to use women for sex, you're going to get shitty experiences of people using you because you need to learn that lesson. But if you go, no, no, I'm just going to go out there and be friendly and connect with people and offer value and be an amazing person. And of course, you're open to a sexual connection if it's there, of course, wonderful. But don't make it your goal. Just be a fucking amazing person and help people and just connect with people. Man, you're going to have so much fun, and you're going to meet the most amazing people, and you're going to attract amazing women because the women you'll attract will be the ones that are attracted to you because you're an amazing person and you care and you're talking to them and you're connecting. So that's the energy to come from. Just be the fucking highest version of yourself. That's why I always emphasize, get in shape, go to the gym if you have to, stop eating shit, feel good, have a clear brain, get into some detoxing, get into some shadow work. If you've got needy patterns or like weird stuff you're doing, or you're really busy in your mind, get into meditation, get into, work on yourself. Like that should be your number one project, work on yourself. And if you work on yourself and you get to the point where you just feel good and you're happy and you're in a good place and you want to help other people because life is good for you, man, you're going to crush it at life. And you won't even think like, how do I get a girlfriend? How do I meet more people? You're just going to be a happy, high vibe person. And people are attracted to you being in high vibration. So you'll be like a magnet. People just come up to you and they want to talk to you. Women will just talk to you. Dude, in the last few years, since the pandemic, and hopefully your audiences knows why we call it the pandemic. And if you don't, woo, you're in for a rude awakening when you figure things out. But anyway, so the last few years, I was just going around. I was just doing comedy. I was going to freedom events, trying to warn people against the agenda, warning people that injecting yourself with toxic chemicals because Big Pharma told you to do so. Probably not the best idea. But I was just very passionate and doing my thing and spreading love and doing comedy, etc. And I've had the most amazing women in my life in the last few years, and I haven't done any day games at all. I've just been living my life and just keep meeting these amazing women, beautiful, high level women who are working on themselves, who call me out on my shit and are like, "Hey, you're being arrogant. You're not being present. You're being a fucking dick right now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was being a dick. Sorry. Okay, I'll look at that." So the most amazing women I've ever had in my life has been in the last few years, and it's just because I know myself and I'm working on myself, and I'm just a better version of me than I was 5, 10 years ago. So I'm attracting much higher quality women. Zero approaches. I just want people to understand that. Zero approaches, tons of women all the time. Like, and even when I'm being in a relationship for a couple of years and it ends, and I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for another relationship. I just want to process whatever. Life just shoves another amazing woman in my face because for me at this point, the greatest teacher is women. Like relationships are my greatest teacher. I've spent enough time on my own. I've spent enough time on a spiritual path and working on myself. Now it's like being in a relationship is shoves all my bullshit in my face and forces me to look at it. And it's a great teacher. So I'm just constantly in a relationship where I'm looking at my shit and I got to keep working on my stuff. So yeah, hope this is making
Oh,
sense. All the crazies out there.
no, it makes a load of sense, man. It's so much better than some of the more, well, not more toxic, but the toxic sides of pickup. I want to touch on like when you said zero approaches. Just I know there are going to be guys watching this later who are like, then how do I meet women? How can you give some examples? Like even when you're doing zero, I know exactly what you mean, but for the guys watching to understand, how do you do zero approaches and still get plenty of dating opportunities.
Well, you got to have a hobby. You got to have something that you like that gets you out of the house. So now I do stand-up comedy. So guess what? If I do comedy and girls come up to you, oh, you're so funny. I really like that joke. You tell me about, I'm joking about plant medicines, joking about, urine therapy and all this funny stuff. So of course, women come up to me and they're like, hey, like that was funny. So if a girl's hot and she's talking to me and she's interested, well, I didn't have to like so I couldn't understand how these guys who were naturals like back in like 2007 8 when I was kind of starting out. I think I hate these fucking natural guys that are good looking and just like they don't even do approaches and they're hooking up with all these chicks. Yeah, because they have a life and they're whether they're playing football or baseball or they're just really social or whatever it is. They're just meeting women all the time anyway, and some of the women like them and they're not retarded, so they're just gonna get with the chicks. Like that's that simple. So again, it took a long time. I started kind of dating, I don't know, somewhere around 2005 and kind of working at it and really got into it around 2007. So it's been about 20 years and I've been working on myself probably about that long, something like probably about 20 years. So 20 years into working on myself, I'm in my 40s. I know who I am. I don't have to try, and I don't have to try and meet women. I just meet women anyway, and I'm always in a relationship. But that took 20 years, right? You know what I'm saying? Like and I still got shit to learn. I'm still an asshole sometimes. I'm still not present sometimes. I'm still selfish sometimes. Sometimes I'm in my ego. Sometimes I'm not listening. Sometimes you know, sometimes I'm still disassociate. So if I get in a situation that's a little bit awkward with a woman or something, or I might literally check out, and then I'll be like, I'm sorry, baby, I checked out. Can you say what you said again? Because that's my trauma response. Because when my mom was kicking the shit out of me and throwing fucking boots at my head, I would check out, right? And I'm aware of that pattern. So this is another really big thing for guys. Like we all have our patterns. We all have our, you know what I mean, based on the trauma from society, trauma from our parents, all this bullshit. So getting into shadow work and learning about yourself and being able to recognize when you're being selfish and recognize when you're not being present and recognize when you're, all these things. You got to do that work. So I've been doing that work for 20 fucking years. I'm still working on it. I'm still not done. I don't think I'll ever be done. But I sure am better than I was, and I'm more present than I was, and I'm more happy than I was, and but you just get to work on eventually. Women. You feel good about yourself, and you just have an amazing woman, and you just keep working on yourself. So women are not the priority anymore. It's just like yourself. Honestly, even if you really want a girlfriend, and that's kind of like what your focus is. In reality, if you focus on becoming a higher version of yourself and working on yourself, that's actually going to get you a woman in a healthier way than trying to get a woman. Because if you try and get a woman and it doesn't work out, and you're like, oh, I got to get another woman, right? Or some guys get addicted to too much, like, oh, having one sex with one, but I want to fuck this other girl. And, so now your energy is going on sex or getting extra women in your life and all this shit. But that's actually not healthy because you're spending all your energy chasing something other than yourself, an external thing that's temporary. Anything that makes you happy outside of your own journey of evolution is temporary. It's like you go, oh, I'm so hungry, I'm gonna eat a delicious pizza. You eat it. How long are you happy? You eat the pizza, you're happy. Then what? A few hours later, you're hungry again. It's the same thing with chasing money. You get a bunch of money, you feel good, but then what? So what? You have more money now. So what? It doesn't fucking change anything. The same thing with sex. You've banged a really hot girl. Okay, great. So now what? And then eventually, oh, I got to get another one. It's all bullshit. Everything outside of yourself is bullshit. It's only temporary. It's not going to make you happy. The only thing that's ever going to make you happy is doing the healing work, loving yourself, loving others, being a good person, raising your level of consciousness. If you haven't read it, go and read Power versus Force by David Hawkins. Raising your level of consciousness. And as you work on yourself, and also part of that is like have a career that you love or a business that you love, something that you love. But as you come more into just alignment with truth, with love, with oneness, just feeling happy, that's something you can constantly be working on is yourself and your own awakening journey. It doesn't matter about the women. Naturally, you'll attract a woman who's also working on herself, and now you can work on yourselves together, and it's wonderful. But put the emphasis on yourself. That's one thing I would have changed back in the day when I was really getting into day game in 2005. Instead of going around and chasing women, I said, dude, work on your shadow. You're really awkward. You don't love yourself. You don't trust women. You're angry at women still because of your mother. So work on your personal shit. Do your shadow work. Maybe see a counselor. Like work on your shit first and feel better about yourself. Then go do the day game. Then go talk to women. So really putting the emphasis on personal development first. Yeah, it's really huge, man. It's really
Yeah,
huge.
that leads into a very interesting topic. So I'm not sure if this was a big thing 20 years ago, but I kind of noticed more and more guys in the community become more obsessed with this idea of lay count. So I want to have sex with as many women as possible. What's your lay count, bro? I got 300 lays this week and shit like that. You touched upon that, like the unattainable kind of purpose or goals. You eat a pizza, you're hungry again, have sex with hot women. Now what? What's your message for guys who are kind of lost in that spiral of constantly chasing numbers? Like, my goal in life is 100 women, and then you get to 100 women. What now? 200. I've seen this so many times, and I see it on a weekly basis at this point.
Yeah, so that's really stupid. So look, again, back to the spiritual journey. That's your ego, right? As soon as you're like, oh, I'm gonna be super cool because I'm gonna sleep with. I mean, I was there too. Believe me. At one point, I'm like, okay, I gotta get to 100 chicks, and then I literally, as I got to 100, I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. This is stupid. This doesn't change anything. So it's just your ego. You are not your ego. You're not your lake count. You're not how much money. I mean, it's like go and watch Fight Club with all the information is there. You're not what's in your bank account. You're what you dress like. None of how many women you sleep with. None of it matters. None of it matters. All that matters is are you living your life authentically? Are you a good person? Are you working on yourself? Are you trying to make the world a better place? These are the things that matter as a man. It does. So don't. The other shit is stupid. You're just wasting your time, and you're literally just jerking off on your ego, dude. It's so dumb. I would respect a guy much more if he only ever slept with 5 women, but he was authentic with all of them, was completely honest with all of them, didn't fuck them around at all. And on the fifth one he met, he fell in love, and she loved him, and boom, they got married and they had a fucking happy life and kids together. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. I'd much rather be that guy than the dude who's like, oh yeah, I just love 200 women, and who cares, dude? One day you're gonna be old and wrinkly, and it's not gonna fucking matter that you slept with 200 women. It's going to matter whether you know who you are and love yourself and have an amazing woman who loves you for who you are next to you when you're 82 in a senior's home. You know what I'm saying? Your lake count isn't going to matter.
100%. I want to throw in, I forgot to mention this earlier, about like the do you have a boyfriend thing. What I like to say is, how's your love life? And I came up with this at the workplace actually, because I realized you should just be able to say things human to human, no matter what context. Like, it's not like I haven't faced HR issues, but I literally first time I asked this, I asked to a coworker. I wasn't interested in her, but I was like, she was having boyfriend issues and stuff. And that's when I realized if I just ask, how's your love life? Then I don't get the information on I have a boyfriend or I don't, but I get the information on I have a boyfriend, but we're having some problems right now. I'm getting married, I'm pregnant, I'm seeing a guy, dating a guy, interested in a guy. Get much more context than that. Just wanted to throw that in there. If you have no comments on
I
that,
do
then
like that one.
yeah, it's good. I came
I
up
do
with
like
that
one because
like
it's like you're interested, but you're curious about what the situation is. It kind of allows more space for her just to share. So that I do like that. Yeah.
it's much more indirect and applicable to pretty much any co-workers and so on. But also you mentioned cancer. My wife was diagnosed with cancer at the end of 2022. And you mentioned like recommending books to guys. I actually got like at least a dozen guys doing that exact thing you said from the community itself. They would send me books and resources, and those guys were always the kind of guys who were very competent. They weren't concerned with dick measuring on the groups or trolling the groups or anything. They all had very good inner game. So I would love to get some recommendations from you after this. But aside from that, stand-up comedy sure is interesting. I tried that. I would say I think 8 or 9 years ago, I want to say. And first gig that I did went very well. There were a lot of comedians there, and the experienced ones pulled me aside at the end and said, "Oh my God, you were so good." And then I got hyped up. Second gig, I had too much of an ego. I didn't prepare, and I fucked up completely. So it was this crazy thing where even the experienced guys were like, "Man, my first time was complete shit." It's a crazy adventure. Sure is very good for confidence. Where would you say comedy comes into game, attraction, and life in general?
Yeah, this will be have to be our last one because my battery about to die. Um, but we can do a part two if you like. I like
Yeah, thanks.
dropping knowledge for the kids. Yeah, comedy is great. Again, it's just another way to work on your confidence. But what's interesting for me is it's a way to work on your authenticity. I actually teach a course. I've done it online a couple of times, but I usually do it live in person. And it's something I do sometimes. And it's called Comedy Therapy and Authentic Communication. And I get people to actually joke about their childhood and their trauma and how their parents were crazy or how they're, how whatever. I just get them to talk about their lives and how kind of retarded their lives are or just funny stuff, because when you can be vulnerable and you can be authentic and you can share something real, it gives the a person that's in front of you also the opportunity to be authentic and be real and be vulnerable. And so that's where you can have a deep connection. Most people are in this day and age, everything's fake. You go on Instagram, everybody's perfect lighting and filters and fucking, nobody looks like that. It's all bullshit. There's very, very few people sharing real content. So comedy is good if you can laugh at yourself. I think that's really the power of comedy. I mean, in general, sure, making a funny comment or being able to laugh, that's cute and everything, and it helps. But when you can laugh at yourself and be humble and actually show who you really are, including maybe your dark side or your imperfection or whatever, that lends itself to really connecting authentically with another human. And so for me, that's the power of comedy. And so if I recommend anyone, like all my students currently and that do my comedy therapy course, their homework is actually to write 5 minutes of jokes, authentic jokes about themselves, and go out to an open mic night and perform it. That's how you graduate my course. You got to go and perform the stand-up comedy, and it's a really liberating experience. And once you can talk about yourself honestly for 5 minutes and people are laughing, man, when you bring that into a conversation with a woman and you're just able to like be yourself and share your fucked up stuff, man, it's such a powerful, deep connection when you meet someone who can just be themselves and share a little bit honestly and humorously about themselves. It's a really powerful connection for connection. That's why whether you do a bit of stand up or you do some improv that can help you. People out there might want to take my course, but whatever you do, working on sense of humor and being able to be in the moment and be able to be real, super fucking powerful, like really, really powerful. It's just good for you, even if you end up being a monk and you never talk to a woman again. Just being able to have authentic conversations with people is a critical life skill, if you ask me.
I'm just visualizing a monk who just like makes people laugh with no context whatsoever. No, it's crazy. It's
That was
just
me
something.
when I was celibate. That was me. But eventually, I did celibacy for a few years because I was on my spiritual path and I didn't want to be distracted by women. And then later, I was like, nah, I'm too young and sexy for that. And I went back to having women. So in my life, I wasn't ready for that, but it was good. And that's another thing that's really powerful. At some point, go celibate for a year and work on yourself. And I'm telling you, you're going to come out of there like feeling so good, so energized, and then you'll have and just see what happens. If you actually stay off women for a year, and then when you come out of that, you'll meet some amazing woman and have a crazy connection, and it'll be the greatest thing ever because like you'll be so excited, and she'll be like, "Wow, this guy really likes me," but she doesn't realize you just haven't had any poon poon for a year. But yeah, it's really powerful, especially if you've been like doing game for like a long time and you're like burning out and you're trying to. It's like, hey, yeah, why don't you take 12 months off, bro, and then see how you're see what's up.
Some revolutionary advice here. Holy shit. Everyone's gonna be so triggered from this. But I need to get laid every
Yeah.
day. Oh my
Totally.
God, it's so funny. Yeah, any final thoughts for the guys if you gotta go? Recommendations, anything to do with comedy, learning comedy, inner game stuff. What's your final message for uh your legacy to the guys who follow you? What would you want them to know?
Man, it's a big one because I could talk forever, but spread love, do what you love, have a great career, be nice to people, and go on a spiritual journey, man. Like I know everyone's like, well, not everybody's into it, but like, what's really good, the real happiness in life is actually like I'm in my 40s. I can tell you, I'm so much happier now than I was in my 30s or my 20s or my teens. I mean, life just gets better, but that's because I'm getting to know myself better, right? I know who I am, and it feels good just being myself, connecting with people. So get to know yourself, like really, and spend time alone. Sometimes that's something we don't get, like working a job or living in a city. Take a week and go in the woods, and in like a friend's RV, or rent, or go in a cave somewhere. Just be alone and just see what comes up. See what rises up in your soul about what you want to do, and how you want to live your life. Take time for yourself, man. Connect with yourself. Connect with your creator. I don't know, whether you call it, whether you like Jesus or Krishna, or you call it source, or you're just a higher power, whatever. But take time for yourself to connect with that, and go read a couple of spiritual books. I already mentioned one. I have a website up that's a very simple website, iproject.love. And so that's just got some of the spiritual teachings that kind of have come through to me through the universe. So I share those, and I share some of my favorite spiritual books on there. There's also a really powerful prayer there that removes non-beneficial energies from your system. It only takes about a minute. That changed my life too. If you feel anxious, or you feel heavy, or you get a lot of thoughts in your head, sometimes they're not your thoughts, and you can get these beings basically attaching to you and fucking with your thought stream and with your energy, and that's serious. Like, people will hear that and go, oh, woo woo. No, man, it's real. I had one of those things stuck on me, draining my life force, and it almost took me out. So that's also on the website. So yeah, get on the spiritual path, man. Look at those books. Pick a book. Conversations with God is a really powerful book. It's a really, really good start. But yeah, you can do whatever you want in life. You can have an amazing life, but it's not going to be. It's a lot harder if you're coming from the ego and you think you're doing everything. In fact, the universe is living. God, the source God is everything. It's you. It's part of you. It's acting through you. And when you really get really centered in, like, that, you're a part of this wonderful creation that is everything. The birds, the trees, the animals, it's all one consciousness. And actually, you have a deep purpose here. There's a reason you came here to this planet, and it's your own healing, your own evolution. And potentially, when you get good with yourself, you may be here to help millions of people or do some epic shit. But again, if you don't do the personal work and you don't establish that connection with the creator, you're going to struggle to find what that purpose is. So I would just encourage everybody, go and discover your purpose, spend time alone, talk to God, and find yourself, what you're really doing here, and have an amazing life, and focus on that and living your purpose, and not getting lots of women. Just be the best version of you and do what you're here to do.
Awesome. This has been pleasantly surprising and relatable, minus the hipster stuff. Just fucking around. But yeah,
At least
that
I
that's
didn't tell
actually
everybody to start drinking their own piss, which I've been doing since 2015. That would have made a lot of people feel super uncomfortable.
I'm feeling super uncomfortable now. God damn. Normally I'm not the one drinking it, it's someone else. Uh It's not the first time we made those jokes on these panels. Awesome. If you need to go, then feel free to go. Otherwise, we can just read out questions from the chat. And
No, it's good to end.
I
I got my 10% battery warning like a few minutes ago, so it's probably going to kick out. So yeah, it was a nice chat. You had good questions, so it was fun. And yeah, if anybody wants to follow me, I'm mainly on Instagram, Alex the Comic. So I usually post there, but I still have my old YouTube channel people can find. But yeah, best Instagram is kind of where I'll, kind of live when I bother posting.
Alrighty, thanks for jumping on. This has been a really cool conversation. Like seriously, I never had a guest who I could just jump to so many topics to very spontaneously, with such a good flow. So I think that's a good sign of authenticity for there. That's very interesting. Thanks for jumping on.
It was, brother, it was fun. We'll talk again. Peace out.
Thanks. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep this going for the rest of you guys who are watching. If you got any. You know what? I might actually want to open this to you guys. So I would just have to make sure that I pin myself on here. Let's see. If you guys want to jump in and call in and you can use your microphones and ask some questions, I'm just gonna put the link down here. Let's see. I'm kind of hesitating because of what happened last time I did this. Let me just make sure that how could I do this? I just gotta make sure it's spotlighted on me. And because I'm the only one in here now, it's kind of weird. Fuck it. Whatever. I'm just gonna put that in there. jump in and you can join, ask some questions. I'm gonna make sure it only shows me though until someone's comfortable enough to put on their camera and they're not a weirdo. But yeah, you don't have to show yourself. I'm just saying it's just going to be on me unless you do want to show yourself. So feel free to jump on, ask a question, and we can keep this going. I think there should be one or two people joining a little later, but everything has been super chaotic and spontaneous this week. But yeah, let's see what questions we got here. Get some very good stuff going in the chat. It's amazing. My man, glad because I have some good questions lined up. If 100 guys went out to the bars in a busy city like San Diego, I've never been there. What percentage do you think would actually end up hooking up that same night? Now, that's an interesting question. It depends because are these 100 guys coming over on a bus straight from the asylum? Let me just pin me so it's all good. Yeah, that should be good. Let me just double check. Got someone in here. How's it going? I recognize who you are. Hooking up that same night. Now, that's an interesting question. It depends because you're just I can just hear myself echoing there. Can you put on some headphones or earphones or something, and then I won't be able to hear my past self, my like 1 minute past self, and then that'll be no problem. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, like what was I saying? If 100 guys went out to a bar in San Diego, how many would end up hooking up? Did they come on a bus from an asylum? Because in that case, it's probably going to be lower. It's going to be a crazy scenario. Weren't there like some shootings? Not so, maybe it was like a year ago, but I remember guys in the chat always saying like gas lamp or like this kind of area or certain types of bars and clubs in San Diego, and it seems really fucking chaotic there. So I think it would just be a really bad situation. And of course, it would just depend on the ratio because such a such an obvious thing that guys don't talk about enough, but we're all aware of anyway, is ratio because you cannot control it unless you own the club or you're running the event. So this is more of a social circle game concept, but don't want to keep burping on these lives. So this is talked about in Dan Bilzerian's book, The Setup, and Michael Sarkane also talks about this, and so does Justin Mark. Ratio is such a huge thing because if you just go to these random clubs, like I've been at clubs in Canada, England, and whatever, and sometimes the ratio would be good, sometimes it would be horrific. So I remember going on Tuesday nights to this particular place in the middle of nowhere, and there would be like rock nights, and the ratio was really surprisingly good. Like it would be like 60, 70% women and 30, 40% men. So it was in your favor to some extent, but there are way better ratios out there. Whereas if you go to these random clubs, and like, I remember going to clubs in London and I was just like, fuck, it's like 80, 90% dudes here. It's a fucking joke. And there are so many guys who mentioned like sausage fests, like all over Europe and whatever. That is a real bummer. So if you go set up your own parties or you're part of a social circle, or you do your own house parties, a ratio of 7 women for every one man is basically the best ratio, according to Dan Bilzerian, because you just reverse the entire dynamic, the social dynamic, if you want to say, of everything. So instead of being one of 200 guys in a club just trying to score with a woman or whatever, um, you're one of very few guys in this environment, and there are so many more women. they have to be the ones fighting over you. So why do we always set ourselves up to make things difficult in the first place when we could just flip the script and just make the circumstances much better? And now it's easier said than done, but that's a social circle game thing. So it's a long-term game, really. But that's just an interesting thing from the book this app. So if you're interested in social circle game, I would recommend looking into that. Because that's a much crazier in your favor dynamic. How can a guy tell if a coach is the real deal or just full of shit? I'm gonna say shit. You're gonna type shit in there, but I'm gonna throw that in. We released an article recently. Something like 10 ways dating coaches try to scam you. So that gives part of the answer. It doesn't give all of the answer, but that just gives you the ways in which coaches, signs that coaches are kind of screwing you over. So for example, they are never on time. Like they advertise a boot camp and then they have their assistants do the boot camp and you never like actually see this person. So many crazy things. And then, yeah, there's like gaslighting. There's a whole fucking list. Now, that's part of the answer. The other part is like who the person actually is. So, is this person just like me and Alexander Lasarev, Sasha Daygame, we're talking about, well, he's not Sasha Daygame anymore. Um, just like we were just talking about, he mentioned ego, like the dick measuring contest in these pickup communities sometimes where it's like, I had sex with more women than you, my girls are hotter than you, than yours. My penis is bigger than yours. Like it's an endless fucking dick measuring contest. Coaches who use that in their marketing or in their just like mindset are coaches you should avoid because let me reset my camera here. Because if you're just gonna make everything a gimmick about, oh my God, I had sex with a million women, how many of those did you pay? Like, I could literally go, I know millionaires who would use prostitutes, not anymore. One guy I know in particular, he was relying on prostitutes, and then I was coaching him to get out of it and just have normal relationships with women instead of using money or to at least use money in more optimal ways. So there's paying women, but there's a different matter is like using your money as a tool for your lifestyle. So if you have a villa in Mexico or something and you own the property, but your rooms are available, you got like 10 different rooms in your beach house or whatever. And I've been to these places in Peru, not in Mexico, but in Peru. You have a resource that your money paid for, but you didn't give the money to the women. But anyway, back to this point. Um, if you're if you have no problem with money, you could literally go to a prostitute, a new one, every single day. And then that's 365.25 women every year. Like, yay, now my dick's bigger than yours. I'm the best coach in the world because I just went to prostitutes every single day. So this whole thing is just completely illogical because it's like, how did you obtain and how do we know? Because there's a whole evidence thing. Show evidence that you're getting laid. And the only evidence is like infield, which isn't actually evidence. It's evidence that you might have social skills, but aside from that, it's not evidence that you got laid. And even if it was, it's illegal to show that. The only real evidence that you got laid is a DNA test, like you take a semen sample from her vagina, or a DNA test with like a kid that was born. So those are basically, or no, there is a third one. Little videos of you having sex. And there's a really famous website for that, and it begins with P and ends in hub. Like that is the real evidence. We like anything short of that is not evidence, okay? So anyone who using their marketing saying, I'm getting laid with a million women, and then I have all the receipts. It's so cringe when they use receipts because you paid women, so they gave you a receipt. I didn't know prostitutes gave receipts. That's a very strange thing. Like, isn't prostitution illegal in most places? Like they're giving receipts. Like, are they showing this to the IRS? I think it's a very funny thing. But anyway, yeah. To answer your question, because I am going off the rails a little bit, ego, false marketing, gimmick marketing, all of these things I would say are red flags. If they make their whole thing about like I get everything in the universe, so I'm the best coach. And well, if their whole marketing thing is like they claim they are the best. Mystery doesn't claim he's the best, but he was voted the best pickup artist 2024. He doesn't claim he's the best. He just is the best. The person who comes number one in Formula One, who wins a race, who wins a fucking gold medal, doesn't suddenly go on Instagram and change their bio to I'm the best in the world. So like I imagine if I go to Usain Bolt's Instagram profile right now, he'll probably say he's the fastest man in the world, but he's not gonna say, okay, actually that's a bad fucking example. But he literally set like world records or something. So that's a different case. That's a terrible fucking metaphor. Scratch that. Forget I ever said it. But yeah, those are some of the answers. Also there's an experience. There's so many coaches I see and they got like 10 subscribers on YouTube, or they could have like 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, but the views don't match up. So it's a strange thing because there are so many guys I see who fake their stats, not just like how many women they claim to have had sex with, but how many clients they claim to have taught, how many subscribers they have. They like bought subscribers or bought a dying channel or something. Um, and then their views don't match up. They'll have like 2 million views or less, but they'll have something like um 2 million views would really give you 7,500 subscribers approximately. So if they have like 2 million views and 40,000 subscribers, that does not make sense. That is complete stat faking. So you got to be careful. These are little signs. I'm not saying anyone who fakes their stats is a complete fraud, but I am saying like if the signs are there, the probability is a little higher. So and like if that's the only crime a coach has made, then maybe I'm being picky here, but just be careful what you're seeing, and see if you can find other red flags. Next question. Oh, we're getting a lot of stuff in the chat here. How do you keep a good flow of communication with friend with benefits without messaging every day? A lot of mine fade out since I'm not into constant messaging, but I know many girls expect that consistency. I'm going to put a link in the chat that answers your question. My book, The Message Game, it's only like $10 or something, or cheaper if you get the ebook. I literally wrote the best-selling book on messaging women, like the best-selling book on online dating. There aren't many books on this subject. I don't think there are any that go as practical as I went. So there are a shitload of answers in there, but to answer your question in short, at least. I'm not just going to say buy my book. To really answer your question, you just need to realize that you don't need to message them every day. Like you're just giving them attention if you are. If you treat women like your pen pals and message them like almost every day, that's the pattern that you're setting. The pattern that you set needs to be one where you're messaging for the purpose of meeting. So this is rule free of message game, meet. If you're just messaging for attention or to keep it warm, keep the interaction warm, you're thinking the wrong fucking stuff. So do not make that mistake. You should not be messaging for her entertainment, for her attention, to keep things warm. That's not how it works. You should be messaging to meet her. If she wants your attention, she can just use the internet and watch some fucking memes all day or go on YouTube shorts or God forbid fucking TikTok and that bullshit. She doesn't need your attention. Give her attention when she shows up at your house. That's the difference. Do not give her attention unless she shows up to your fucking house. Rule free of message game. So yeah, that's a taste of how it is. There's more to it, but yeah, just stop messaging women every single day. You need to follow the rules of message game. I gave you only one rule there, which was the third one. Make sure you understand the rules of message game. Um, let me put in the link again for anyone who wants to join. Just make sure your audio isn't weird so you guys can jump in. Yeah, next question. I will never tire of hearing Sasha talk. Follower from way back in the Infinite Man Summit days. Sasha, love your work, actually. Beautiful comment right there. Sasha is the one that got me away from pickup artistry and start being real with women. Glad to see you back. Great comment right there. This guy's always commenting on the channel. You should leave some good stuff. Do you have any books out? He's gone, so I can't answer that. Where can we inquire about booking session? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe he answered that. Would be cool to have weekly open discussions like this. Yeah, I'd like to hear from everyone, not just those who call themselves coaches. Great fucking comment. You guys are leaving. Like, I think this is one of the best chats we ever seen. That's really saying something. Driving right now, or else I would hop on. Great stream. 100 random. Yeah, not guys from the asylum. Yeah, I don't. I didn't really answer your question, but I don't think it matters. I'm not considering other guys. I'm not concerned. Oh, I hope this guy gets laid, or like 20% are gonna get laid or something. I don't care what other guys are doing. I'm focused on me and like what I'm doing. So I don't really give a shit like who is trying to get laid. It's just like by then you're just playing in some sense. You might be playing a comparison game or believing that there's some competition, but there is only one ice white, as far as I know. Let me know if you find another person with my first name. One person told me he met a German guy with the same name as me, and I was like, that's so random. A German? Surely it would be spelled differently. But anyway, yeah, I'm not concerned about other guys. Like, what percentage of guys are gonna get laid under those circumstances? But yeah, Austin, Miami. I never been in these cities, but New York. Some people say New York is hard. New York is not hard. New York is not hard. Like you could I was literally on the fucking waiting for a subway train. God damn, those things take way longer than they do in overseas, like in Europe. It's like 2 minutes in London, and I can't remember Berlin and whatever, but 5 minutes or 10 minutes sometimes waiting for a subway train in New York. Talk to someone. And then there was this crazy thing. There was this woman, and I was like, I bet she's fucking Polish. And I was like, holy shit, she is Polish. Okay, I'm gonna guess her name. And it was the same name as my ex-girlfriend from Poland. I forgot what her fucking name is now. Fuck. I can't remember her name. But it was the same fucking name as my Polish girlfriend, who I was with at the same time, I guess. She just wasn't in New York with me. But I was still in a relationship with her. I was like, shit, you got the in my head, same name as her. So yeah, I literally guessed where she came from and her name in the random place in Brooklyn or Queens, I think. So like if you're waiting 5 to 10 minutes for a fucking subway train in New York, just fucking talk to people. They don't have to be women, but just like be social. Like that's what Alexander, I don't know if he still wants to be called Sasha, whatever, talks about. So, uh, very enlightening stuff from him. Yeah. Let's see these comments here. We know who the biggest scammer is. We don't even have to say his name exactly. Be careful. He'll be making another hit video on you and threatening to sue. Wow, I'm shaking. Um, do I give a shit? Ugh, man, I don't think it's worth talking about anymore. But just see that YouTube short, his infill. That was funny. What would you say that would you say that Atlanta is the hookup capital? Never been there. I don't know. Um, I don't know. It doesn't get rated high in like our polls or anything. So maybe it's a matter of it being underrated. If it's good, then I think it's going to be underrated, but I basically don't know anything about Atlanta. I know what state it's in, and shit like that, but um either way, if you are having good results in Atlanta, make sure you join the Game Atlanta group. And if you're doing pretty well there, then maybe it's a very underrated city because it seems pretty quiet compared to other places. It seems like Warsaw is number one and number two is Barcelona. It seems like Europe is having a good time right now. In Brazil, apparently. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. And then where the USA is concerned, it's always Miami and Las Vegas that tend to come on top. But I think it's just a bias of popularity and population. Same thing. Does living within a 5 to 10 minute walk of the bars, clubs actually double your chances of a same night pull? For example, being right off 6th Street in Austin. Rent is about 3 times higher. $3,000 for one bedroom. That's like, if that's not the biggest scam I have ever seen, I don't know what is. So, here's an interesting thought. I went to a party two years ago. 2 years ago this month. It was my birthday. It wasn't my birthday party, but I went to a party with Luke Krogh, who used to be an RST instructor, RST Luke. He invited me to this party in London when I was still living there, just before I moved away and moved out of there. The apartment was worth like 8 million pounds, which I guess in USD would be about $11 million or something close. 10, $11 million. And it was like a 1 minute walk away from Oxford Street, which is the busiest street in Western Europe. It's where you'll find like 5 day gamers in the space of 10 minutes or something. I'm speaking from experience. That is day gamer central when it comes to London. So 1 minute from Oxford Street. Now, I used to work near Oxford Street, and I used to actually go to university 1 minute away from Oxford Street. I hate Oxford Street. It's just filled with fucking tourists. They don't know how to walk in a straight fucking line. And once you spend a few years in a city like that, I was living 15 minutes away by subway, by the London Underground, and I was having no problems pulling. Like I was even going to the other side of the city and pulling from there, even though if I just went to the center of the city, it will be easier to pull technically because I would only be like 10 or 15 minutes away. But I was still going to the opposite side from, I was living in the southeast and I would go to the northwest to Camden. I was living in the Canada Water near um, Canary Wharf, one stop before Canary Wharf. So, was I jeopardizing myself, reducing my chances? I don't really care. It was because I was very much used to pulling to my home being 30 minutes away or more than 30 minutes away before I ever lived in the city. So I had that problem to start with. But let me get back to my point here. This really expensive apartment, $10 million, let's say, for this apartment, it had like 3 or 4 floors, and it was a beautiful fucking place. I was like, I wouldn't mind living here for free. It'll be very nice. But then I started thinking, if I had $10 million, I would not want to live in that fucking place. 1 minute from Oxford Street? Are you kidding me? 1 minute away from a place I hate to go, 1 minute away from a place where it's just fucking tourism and people who annoy me, and well, not really people who annoy me, but from like a place I don't go, because why would I go to a place where it's basically just McDonald's and like all the stores that are everywhere else? Why would I spend all that money on an apartment um where it just has all the basic stuff? Like, do I need to be 1 minute away from H&M? Like, is that worth $10 million to me? I don't think so. I would rather have like a place in Texas worth 10 million and have way more land and way more space than it wasn't a small apartment, but that expensive millions of dollars worth apartment, like you can get so much more. So I'm not concerned with being like 5 minutes away. Now, this is slightly different because if you compare this to Austin, there aren't really nightclubs on Oxford Street in London. The nightclubs are in like other places near Leicester Square, near Piccadilly Circus, or whatever it's called, near in Camden and Shoreditch. The clubs are spread out, but I understand Austin has like a popular street. I never been to Austin, um, but for nightlife purposes, that's a lot of money to spend. I don't think it really matters too much because I personally would just value a bigger place further away because I'm used to dealing with logistical problems. I'm used to being able to pull 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away. There were times before I even moved to a city, before I ever moved to a city, I'm fucking 6'2", so they're not going to be able to keep up with me if I didn't acknowledge that. So I was used to pulling on foot, walking like 2 fucking miles. So that's where my mindset is coming from. I don't think it matters too much. If you're willing to invest that money, living like 5 minutes away from the very center of, I'm gonna take Vegas for example. Like, will being 5 minutes away from the strip in Vegas be much more favorable than 15 minutes away in Uber? Yes. But it's not like, oh my God, 15 minutes, it's the end of the fucking world. I think it would be better to be closer to the Las Vegas Strip. Like Michael Sartain is like 1 block away from the Strip. So that's better, but as a Jew, I would rather put my money to better use and not waste it on like I think that's a huge deal. That's just me. That's just me. Depends on what you're willing to use your money for. Personally, I just value space, like more land and stuff like that. I don't want to live in a small fucking place or a scrappy place with expensive rent and a shit landlord. But anyway, I'll keep this going. I'm wondering if the ROI is worth it since I usually lose skills on the transition back to my car. Why? But you do have a car. I don't have a car. I never had a car. I never had that problem. Are you saying you never made it to the car? Like, I never made it to the car because I don't have one. I never had a car. That's funny. I transitioned back to the car. Fuck. That's interesting. Okay. Nah, talk me through. But your book, we'll check it out. It's cool. How much of a difference can it make in a man's development if his father teaches him game early on? Hmm. I had to figure most of it out on my own, and sometimes I wonder how much. My dad had a bit of a game, I guess. Actually, yeah, he does. Now that I think about it, he's always like flirting with waitresses in front of my mom. No, that's not to say that's where I got it from. I just think that just reminded me of something. No, that's fucking funny. It's all just lighthearted though. I'm not a person who flirts. I'm just more like logistical, I guess. In this, not in the sense like I have my place 1 minute away, but in the sense that I'm just using opportunity. So as vague as that sounds. But anyway, yeah, I just think of my dad, like he had plenty of girlfriends before he got married. Um, he was engaged before as well. He got around, so maybe it runs in the family. I don't know much about his dad though. As much of a legend he was, like he was a fucking legend, financially and shit, career wise and intelligence. But anyway, I'm just fucking rambling here. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think because I didn't learn game from my family. I guess in hindsight, maybe they were confidence in whatever as big as it is. But I am a father myself. I don't have a son yet. But if I did, like, obviously I wouldn't hold this back. I'm not ashamed of being connected to this community. I literally just got attacked on Reddit for saying I run the community, but I'm a married man. I was like, sure, this is a good thing, but they just fucking downvote me. I don't care whatever people think. I'm here to pass on my lessons to other people, family or not. So I think there's a part of me that believes even if you did try to teach someone, sometimes they're not really willing to listen. So, for example, I've seen plenty of the times, guys, and I've seen this for myself when I tried it too, when guys would be like, "How do I get my friend into game? Like, he's a nerd or something, he's not getting any women." And then you tell your friend all this stuff, like, "Oh my God, there's this thing called game. You can learn how to get women." Goes over their head. Like I seen it right in front of me. Some of my friends, that someone else was telling him. So straight over his head. I don't know where these guys are in life now, but they never got into it when I did. Um, they're the only reason I'm here right now doing all this stuff is years ago, there was a conversation between two guys who I vaguely knew. I didn't know him well, but I was eavesdropping on the conversation. I was like, this guy's talking about like picking up women or something. And I joined the conversation. The guy he was talking to, it went straight over his head and he never got into game. But I was external to the conversation, made myself part of the conversation, and I'm the one who got into game. I was a natural before, and the guy he was talking to was a virgin. I was not a virgin when I learned about this, when this conversation happened. Far from it. I had a problem keeping a woman, not getting one. So it's a funny thing that some people, no matter how passionately you show them the way, they just won't actually go for it because they're just derping through life. So I think part of it comes down to competence. It's yeah, that's my thought on it. So basically, I don't think it's going to be perfect, but I definitely would pass on my lessons to my sons, my daughters. I have one daughter so far. So yeah, it's better to have that guidance. It's valuable to have a father who gives you the tools for anything, for dating, for hunting, for camping, whatever it is, as long as the person listening has that passion. Or then, just like earlier, an hour ago, Alexander Lasarev or Sasha was talking about knowing game through mystery. And he was like, man, that's not for me. And then the game came out and then he got back into it. So you could be one of those guys too. So those are some interesting thoughts. Um, yeah, confidence you could have built sooner if you had that guidance. You know, Atlanta sucks. Too many ghetto girls. You're kind of confirming what was at the back of my mind. That's kind of what I was imagining. Now, yeah, I think that makes more sense. That kind of confirms more what I have seen from afar. Um, yeah, was there something I didn't answer here? Yeah. Oh yeah, go. Losing gulls on the way back to your car. Like, can you explain further if you're still here? Because I think that's an interesting problem, a necessary problem to solve. Can you put in chat more about this? Is there are comfort issues? Let me just imagine, like, if you're seeing lose goals on the transition back to your car, like, are you on the way or are you just shut down before you, like, she's just rejecting the fact that you want to take her back to your place or something? Because, like, that's going to happen, car or no car. You'll have that thing, but I don't know if you're still in chat. Um, Aside from that, I guess we can just leave it there. Drop your questions for the next panels. I think hopefully next week, as long as there are no changes to anyone's schedules, we're gonna have I keep having these micro burps. Next week, Sunday, we're gonna have hopefully the social circle game panel. So that's gonna be a really interesting one. I think it's so it's so shameful how many guys like completely ignore a social circle game. It's basically the most efficient form of game, but people don't see results overnight in this kind of thing. So they never started in the first place. So it's one of those things where you have to realize, hey, I'm gonna be alive tomorrow. I expect to be alive in 5 years. Maybe I'm pushing that too far. I expect to still be alive in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Everything's a fucking journey. If you're just still doing fucking day game and cold approach for 10 years and you still haven't, you're still using the same fucking lines, approaching the same woman 15 times without realizing you're just doing spam approach and you're never actually learning anything. If your life has not changed in 10 years of you doing day game, then day game does not work for you. It does not advance you further than it has taken you so far. So why the fuck are you still doing it? You should be adopting, I'm not saying abandon day game, but I'm just saying, why haven't you picked up social circle games somewhere along the way? Like if you have been doing day game for years and you're just getting phone numbers and then you try to take these phone numbers on a date, you get a few dates and then you get laid a few times or whatever your stats are like, because I know there's some terrible results out there among some day gamers. If that's happening to you, you're completely missing the benefits of social circle game. Instead, you could have had social activities with these women instead of inviting them out for one-on-one dates. They could have had their female friends along with them. Then you would meet more women. Every woman you approach in day game is a +1 to your network, potentially. That's a +1 who can bring +1s with her to social events. No matter, when I was first learning about this social circle game stuff, I was like, social events sounds kind of vague. It doesn't have to be like red carpet events or the stuff. I'm not criticizing Michael Sartain, but some people see what Michael Sartain does and they're like, yeah, I can't do that. I don't live in Vegas. I don't live in Hollywood. It doesn't have to be red carpet, big titty Michael Sartain game. It just needs to be an environment where people can just socialize. You can basically just go fucking bowling, as boring and basic as that sounds. Like I used to do bowling as a first date more than 10 years ago. Um, you could do like sushi nights, have like 6 women with you. I remember doing like going to a random chicken and waffles place, and there were perhaps 6 or 7 women there. And there was no agenda like I'm gonna get laid with all 7 of these women. It's just like you're socializing. You're gonna be friends with most of them on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And then over time, you'll go meet their friends, socialize with them, go on one-on-one dates with a few of them over time and shit like that. So this is where social circle game has the upper hand in so many ways. But anyway, we got some new stuff in the chat here. I want to see Deepak Williams. Wait, Deepak Williams? Deepak Williams on the debate, or I will unsubscribe. We want to see Deepak Williams too. I want to see the return of Steve the Deepak Williams. For guys who don't know, this is just a morph of 2 people, Deepak dating and Steve the Dean Williams. We want to see Steve the Deepak Williams. And I just couldn't fucking resist. And it was similar to I love Steve. Steve's great. He's funny. And I remember when after the debate between Mystery and Mr. Ocaro and Steve the Dean Williams and the others who were there, Michael Sartain was there, Marcus Wolf was there. I was just like, I have to make a clip of Steve debating Mystery and just have Steve in the thumbnail wearing Mystery's hat. It's gonna be the funniest thing. So I was like, fuck, I have to do this. So that is one of the greatest thumbnails I ever made. When I make thumbnails, I personally make them myself, the ones that are my footage. I always make my own thumbnails. Um, I always think, what's the craziest fucking thing I could do? And then I just fucking try to make something happen. So yeah, that's always a funny one. Ah man, y'all are crazy. Great advice following failing. I just can't fucking read. Like ever since my screen got smashed up years ago by my daughter closing it on something, I'm pretty convinced the screen is so fucking bad now. Great advice. Failing to change things up can keep guys stuck in limbo forever. Social circle game can flip the script. Exactly. You got it. You got it right there. It's just crazy to me that some people would just be like, it's not just game where this happens, it's also in people's jobs too. Like I think of some of my own family members in the past or present, um, and working for or just other people I know too, working for companies that give them like a minimum wage and they work at this minimum wage thing for decades and they never earn more money. And some of them spend the money as soon as the check comes in. And it's just like, what's the point? You're just earning money minimum wage, and you never advance. I kind of see almost day game the same way because I've been fortunate enough to sustain myself on this YouTube channel and some other projects in the background like MGAI. Um, these things support me, but otherwise, other people would need a job, and a lot of people who have jobs end up in wage slavery. So it's such a sad thing where they just get minimum wage and they never in the background improve themselves in any way. And they just stay on minimum wage until they retire or until they get injured at work and can't work anymore or they die before retirement. It's just like, what's the point? You spent 40 years on the workforce and you never developed any skills that could have saved years of your life by earning more money if you moved into a different career that gave you more opportunities. It's really all a game of opportunity, no matter if it's career advice or dating advice. You have to be an opportunity. You have to chase opportunity and be an opportunist, or you're going to fall behind. If you don't change a damn thing, how do you expect anything to change? It sounds so fucking simple and obvious, but people just don't develop themselves. It's just extremely sad to see wasting your life like that. It's fucking crazy. Social circle game is what naturals do. Yeah, that's probably why I was attracted to it. You could say I was a natural before. Kind of what Alexander or Sasha, I don't know what to call him, was saying before. Zero approaches, you could still meet women. Naturals do that. So it made so much sense to me because I wasn't doing cold approach before I knew about cold approach, but I had women. So it's like the opportunity is still there, but it's just this funny thing that some people just don't get. Social circles are based on reputation. Can't be fucking around because girls talk. Well, you can be fucking around. This is where I'm gonna disagree. I know what you're saying. Um, but there's a good video we have from about 4 years ago. You can check the Social Circle Game playlist. And if you search for on the channel, um, what's the word? Discretion. If you type Game Global Social Circle Game Discretion, you should see a video and the thumbnail, I think, should have me in it and I'm wearing red. So that video, find that video. That's where Michael Sartain 4 years ago, we were talking about how to be discreet. Yeah, because discretion, there's another video as well that's good on this. But this video about discretion, if you have that discretion, instead of being like a pickup coach posting photos of, yay, I got kissed, and then you just post that everywhere. That's gonna look weird. Um, it's that kind of thing where some pickup artists are like posting pictures of women unconsensually in chats and stuff like that. It's a little edgy. You can't be doing the same things with women. So it's like my wingman called me out many years ago back in like 2016 or something because I tried to make a group chat and I had like a table. I made the profile picture a picture of the table and there were like condoms on it and alcohol and shit like that. It was like the bar I was setting up. He was like, man, you should take that down because it's kind of giving off the wrong message. And as mad as I wanted to be, he was right. So I knew that he was right straight away, but I was like, he does have a point. So yeah, there is that. So reputation um is necessary. Shit's like drama's gonna happen no matter how good you are as a person. Like, um, you could have a heart of gold, you could be like a fucking saint, people will still talk shit about you. That's one thing. But the other thing is like your actions, if you're doing stupid things sometimes they can bite you in the ass. So that's where you do have to be careful. So, for example, if you're boasting that I fucked Sally in the ass, And then suddenly Sally finds out you be talking about fucking Sally in the ass. And as true as fucking Sally in the ass might be, she could then say, no, that never happened. He's a liar. So then some people think you're a liar, and some people think you fucked Sally in the ass. This is such a random example, but it's similar to something I have seen, minus the ass part. Uh, but nah, that was crazy fucking time. Um, yeah, flashbacks. Yeah, the other video was the rules of social circle games, something like that. I have some clips of that. Well, YouTube shorts lined up soon. But Michael Sartain talked about the 6 rules of social circle game. Do not listen to words, pay attention to the actions. So her saying something does not line up, or people's words don't line up with reality. Doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. Like, do not take what people say, take what they do, because what they do is the true information. Like I could say, I'm in love with someone, and then if you look at my actions will actually show you the truth. So that's one rule. Another rule is I kind of forget the rest, but look for that video as well, because if you're wanting to do social circle game, what the fuck happened here? Man, it's crashing. I don't know what's fucking happening. What the fuck? Okay, I guess we'll probably. Oh man, what the fuck? It's not working. Okay, I guess we'll just leave it there. Thanks for jumping on. Jumping on. I don't know what to fucking talk about anymore. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys on the other side. Game on.